Hi, everyone, and welcome to English 1002 Online. My name is Nora Villarreal, and in this video, I'm going to introduce myself to you, show you around our Blackboard, and explain my electronic attendance policy so you feel very comfortable and confident navigating the online environment. So first, a little bit about me, so you get to know me as your teacher. I've been teaching for 16 years, and this is my 12th year at IVCC. I am a former junior high English and Spanish teacher, and I'm now a tenured professor, a master online teacher, and the winner of the 2014 Stephen Chari Memorial Award for Teaching Excellence. I am super excited to be working at one of my alma maters, which is IVCC. You can see I'm in my office here behind me, and I earned my associate's degree from IVCC. I also have my bachelor's degree in English from Illinois State University, and my master's in English, specializing in literature and film from Northern Illinois University. I live locally with my husband, our 2 children, our dog, and our collections of cars and motorcycles. And just so you know, you can call me Nora this semester. You can call me Ms. or Professor Villarreal. Si puedes decir Villarreal, that works for me as well. And this semester, I'm going to ask you in advance for your understanding that I am a working professional parent with 2 young unvaccinated children at home. So my schedule might be a little bit unpredictable this semester because of the pandemic, if their schools happen to close or if they are exposed to the virus. However, rest assured, I will be very clear and proactive about communicating any changes to you right away. I'm one of those techie teachers who's sort of always online, so you should always expect clear lines of communication from me. So now that you know a little bit about me, let's take a quick peek at our Blackboard. There we go. So when you are logged into Blackboard, it's probably pretty self-explanatory, but the first place you should stop and read is the announcements. And I really want to encourage you, because you're in an online class, to read those announcements and everything posted in Blackboard very, very carefully. You can sort of rest assured that if I'm bothering to put it in an announcement, I think it's important. Okay? So if you haven't done that already, read my little sort of welcome announcement that guides you through the navigation menu. On the left-hand side, the next content area we have is the important documents area. So this is the place that you're probably going to need to revisit several times throughout the semester, because it houses all those important files that you're going to need to look at over and over again. So the first and probably most important one you see right there at the top is the syllabus and the course calendar. We'll be taking a closer look at that in a moment, but just keep in mind, if you ever misplace it, if you printed it out and lost it, or if you're not sure what we have going on next week in class, you can always find that syllabus and course calendar in the important documents area. My next item is the virtual office hours invitation. So since you're online students, you can certainly feel free to drop in on Zoom, but I'll also welcome you to visit me in person on campus. So this office that I'm in right now is office A312. I'll be in here every Tuesday and Thursday from 11 to 1, and also Wednesdays 5 to 6 before my night class. So you're not required to visit office hours, but I certainly encourage you to do so. I will also keep my office hours, if you peek right here, open on Zoom from Tuesdays 11 to 12. So if you would like to stop in Zoom, I'll have my sort of Zoom hangout room open during that time. If those times don't work for you, please feel free to just let me know and we can schedule something that does. The best way to reach me, is usually over email, but I do have my office phone right here. And if I'm not able to answer during office hours, please just leave me a voicemail and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. So your syllabus will direct you to read a couple of these items, but again, I just wanted to point out that they're here. And I also have links to your 2 textbooks in the important documents area as well. Next up is the learning modules area. Let me put this in the student view so it looks closer to what you're going to see when you log in. There we go. So once you're in the learning modules area, this is where you're going to come to basically complete all of the assignments for your online course. I try to keep it like super organized and easy to navigate so that there's never a question in your mind where you can go to find things. So you can see our first module is the orientation unit, the first couple days of class while we're getting oriented to the online environment. And when you click into it, you'll see our first batch of assignments. And again, I try to be really clear and organized with everything. So you'll notice this first file literally says, read me first. I am the unit overview. So if you see something that says read me first, please go ahead and do that. And it basically just gives you the overview for the unit. So at the top, I give you reminders about needing to turn in your work as a PDF or Word file. Next up, I give you some readings that I would like you to complete during these few days. That just includes the general introduction to your empowered textbook that I'll show you momentarily. And then I will also ask you to read the first 7 items in that important documents area. And that'll include the syllabus. The next thing we have listed here are your important dates. So again, those due dates should always be very, very clear what's due and when. These just list usually the dates, and then these spaces where you'll submit the assignments are over back in that learning module. So for example, you'll notice 2 assignments here, the intro questions and uploading files assignment. And then there's the introduction discussion board post and syllabus quiz. So it's actually 3 assignments with 2 due dates. If I head back over to my learning module, I'm going to see those assignments listed in order in the learning module. And that's how I format every unit this semester. So once we get into our next unit, a new folder will become available. You'll see that unit overview at the top, and then beneath it, you'll see the assignments listed for that particular unit. So again, I'm hoping that it's always really easy to find what you need and to know where to go to turn your assignments in. That being said, because this is an online class, I know things can sometimes be confusing. I have a perception as the teacher that things are clear, but you may be running into areas where you're confused as a student. So I want to really encourage you to stay in touch with me about any questions you might have or about anything that I can clarify for you. And there's no need to start that message or that phone call or that email by saying this is probably a stupid question, or maybe you told us this already. I would so much rather have you ask if you're not sure. So never, ever hesitate to contact me, please. I am here to help you succeed. So let me help you succeed by letting me know when you're confused. The next area in the menu to the left is the discussion board. Again, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Up at the top, I have a forum for questions and answers. So this is a place where you can sort of replicate that class experience of raising your hand and asking a question, even though we're in the online environment. So whenever you have a question about class, especially if it's something that you think your classmates might be wondering about as well, I'm going to encourage you to post it to this Q&A forum. You can see I have one posted already as an example to let you know how to subscribe for notifications. And I'm actually going to show you how to do that right now because I want to make sure you're part of this conversation. So as you're watching this video, one of the first things I would ask you to do when you're done, if you haven't done so already, is head to the discussion board, click into that Q&A forum, and then click this subscribe button right above it. So what happens now that I've subscribed to this forum is every time somebody posts a question, I'm going to get an email notification. So that's going to be a really great way for the members of class to stay involved in the conversation, even though we're working in this online environment. There's a few other forums in the discussion board as well. I was super thrilled to see people are already posting to the coffee shop. That's just kind of our hangout, chit chat space. It's not required, but it's just somewhere that we can go to like get to know each other socially and as people instead of as just, sort of disembodied writers in the Blackboard environment. So feel free to jump in. We're already talking about all the shows and books that we're into and giving each other recommendations. Lastly, you'll see the introductions forum there. There's a link to that directly from the learning module, but you can also use this direct link over in the discussion board to get to those types of assignments. Lastly, you have the My Grades area, pretty self-explanatory. I would just encourage you to keep a close eye on your grades this semester and let me know if there's ever a question or a discrepancy with your grades. I'll be happy to address it. Beneath this little divider line, we just had some more sort of helpful resources. So I'll let you explore those on your own and we'll talk about them later in the semester, but it might be worthwhile just to take a quick peek and see what's there in case it's helpful. Now, I did want to take a quick look at our syllabus. So what I did was I clicked back into the important documents area and I already have it open. So I'm just going to jump over here. Oh, we'll just open it up again. There we go. So again, I'm going to ask you to read this all really thoroughly on your own, but I'm not going to sit here and read it to you. I think that would be incredibly boring and tedious. But there's a couple things I wanted to point out. The first thing is that all of our textbooks this semester are open access. So what that means is they're available for free and they're available online. Now, if you do prefer like a physical hard copy of the book, you can go to the bookstore and those are available. I think it's $40 for the empowered textbook and like $8 or $10 for the style book. So if you prefer a hard copy, go ahead, but otherwise we have links online. Now the empowered textbook, I'll show you really quickly. It's fairly easy to navigate. You can just sort of click through it the same way you would any book, any regular book. One thing I wanted to point out was the table of contents. So this is probably the fastest way to jump to whatever section of the textbook you need. So if I tell you you need to read chapter 5, you can head to the table of contents, click on chapter 5, and it will jump you right there. Now, if you're ever sort of lost in the textbook and you need to get back to the table of contents, there's no need to click this arrow over here 165 times. Instead, if you look to the bottom, notice that you have several controls for this textbook. The one on the far left is the table of contents. So you can simply click that. The table of contents will open up over here and you can navigate to the section that you're looking for. One last thing I'll mention about the empowered textbook that I think is really cool is you can save it to your device, to your printer, to your computer, to your tablet, wherever you might like to keep it. You can print any pages. I'm assuming none of you probably want to print a whole 400-page textbook, but if you wanted to print a certain chapter or a certain section, you could certainly do that. And as long as you're not profiting from saving or sharing this book, you can use it basically however you like. So the licensing is pretty wide open for it. Same thing with the style book. It's available from the Writing Center. From the bookstore. It's published by the Writing Center. It's available in the bookstore. And you can just go ahead and check it out online. If you prefer hard copy, stop by the bookstore and they'll have it there for you. Okay, again, please read everything very carefully throughout the entire syllabus. But one of the last things I wanted to mention today was my attendance policy for online classes. So what I'm going to ask you to do is to log into our course frequently, which means probably at least 3 times a week, unless I announce otherwise, like during a break time or something. Since this is an online course, you also need to actively participate. So I don't want to see people just lurking in the course environment without actually working. If I notice any students who are not logging in for more than 5 days in a row, if there are any students who don't contribute to discussions, if there are students who don't complete work, those are the students who run the risk of withdrawal or failure from the course. Because again, it's important to stay active. Although it's an online course and although we're not physically together, it's still important to stay active in the online environment. Now, I want to add a caveat. I know that our semester might be disrupted by the COVID pandemic, so I encourage you really strongly to stay in touch with me about any difficulties you experience participating in the course. I succeed when you succeed, but I need to know how to help you succeed. So please feel free to approach me and let me know if you're having any difficulties at all. Okay, again, I'm just sort of scrolling through a bunch of stuff in the syllabus that I'll let you read more closely on your own. Here's our grade breakdown for the semester, so I'm sure you'll be interested to take a peek at that. One thing I wanted to really emphasize about this semester is that early in the course, you get to select an author and you're going to be studying this person throughout the entire semester. Okay, and we'll be talking more about this coming up, but you might just want to start thinking in the back of your mind, is there an author or a writer who you would be interested to learn more about throughout the whole semester? And again, more info is forthcoming, but maybe just keep that in the back of your mind for now. One sort of tricky element of grading that I wanted to mention for Comp 2 is our transfer agreement. So this is not an IVCC policy. This is not a NORA policy. This has to do with the Illinois Articulation Initiative, which has to do with transfer courses. And what this tells us is that you must earn at least a D on the research paper in order to pass Comp 2. So in order to get transfer credit, you have to get at least a D on the paper. What that also means is that if there are any students who fail the research paper with an F, but still somehow manage to have a percentage grade that is above an F, that student would still fail the course, right? Does that make sense? A failure on the research paper automatically results in a failure of the course. And again, that's not my policy. That has to do with making this a transfer class. So if you've ever heard that saying, D's get degrees, that's true. Okay. If you have a question about this, please let me know. It is unusual for this to happen, but it is not unheard of. Every semester I have 1 or 2 students who are dancing right on that line. So please do get in touch with me if you have any questions. Alrighty, the last thing I wanted to point out, again, I'm just skipping past some things you can read on your own, is the tentative course calendar for fall 21. So I just wanted to point out that, number one, here it is. I have everything laid out for you throughout the semester. And just to point out sort of some of the work that we have upcoming. So right now I have this sort of set out in weekly units, just to sort of break it down and make it very easy to keep up with. And you can see that right away after our orientation unit, we will be getting into our SA1 assignment. And again, any of those assignments that are mentioned either in the unit overview document or here on the syllabus, wherever you go to find those, all those links will be found in that learning modules unit. Alrighty. So I think that's all I wanted to introduce to you guys today about the course and about myself. I just want to end by, again, encouraging you to stay in touch with me. I know with online classes, it can feel a little bit challenging, or you might feel a little bit separated from me as your teacher or from your peers in class. But my goal is to make this a really excellent semester for everyone. So if you have any questions, never hesitate to let me know. I am here to help, and I hope you have a fabulous first week back at school. Bye-bye. Thanks for listening.